Yai dai 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 yai dai dai dai. Ay 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 ya dai dai dum. Oh. Ay 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 dum. Oh. Ay ya dai dai. Yai dai 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 yai dai 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 dum. Ay ay dai 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 yai dai dai dai. Ay 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 dai dai. Ay 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 ay. Yai dai 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 yai dai dai dum. Yai dai 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 yai dai dai dai. Ay 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 yai dai dai dai. Yai dai 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 dai. Ay 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 ay. Boker Tov, good morning. Chag Sameach. It is still Sukkot. It is actually, there's a lot of confusion with any holiday that extends more than one day. And the reason for this is because we live in the diaspora, meaning we live away from Israel. And so certain holidays, especially festival ones, are sometimes they're 7 days for Israel and they're 8 days for us. And the reason behind it is because the time difference. So they want to make sure that they cover all of it because it already started in Israel, and by the time it starts here, we're already behind. And so sometimes days get extended. So during Sukkot, this week-long festival of booths, there are 2 days in the beginning and 2 days in the end, and then there's a bunch of days in the middle called Kol HaMoed. And so the reason we have Wisdom Wednesday is sometimes there's wisdom and sometimes there's reminders, and sometimes we learn different things from each other, and sometimes we don't learn at all, but we're just here to listen. And so wherever you glean from today, I just find that sometimes we look at a calendar, or sometimes we look at a group of people, or sometimes things are scheduled and things are canceled, and we're never really sure why or what's the reasoning and meaning behind it. So during Sukkot, the first 2 days are non-working days, as we like to call it. We're all working, but they're non-working days. They're days of religious obligation and observation, as we used to call them in school, DROs, meaning like, yay, we wouldn't get homework. But Sukkot, of course, was never on the list because no one even knew what it was. However, those first 2 days are nothing. The middle ones, the ones in the middle, Kol HaMoed, means you can do everything, but you're still observing that which is the holiday. That you should still be going in the sukkah, you should still be waving the lulav and etrog, you should still be eating meals, you should still be joyous, but you can go to work. And then we come to the tail end, and then it gets really confusing. Why? Because there are other things as part of it. One, the first being, sorry about that, something's in my eye. The first is being Hoshana Rabbah, which is the second to last day, but sometimes confused with Shmini Atzeret, sometimes tandem. It depends on how it's being observed. It says what it's supposed to be, but because of that 7 verse 8 days, things get all mixed up. And then, of course, the culmination of it is Simchat Torah. But I want to talk about what is Hoshana Rabbah. It's on your Jewish calendar, and probably you're thinking, I never heard of this. I don't know. Maybe you did, maybe you didn't. And then after that is Shmini Atzeret. Maybe yes, maybe no. So Hoshana Rabbah is the 7th day of Sukkot. It's its own thing, though it falls in the catch of Sukkot. It's still counted as one of those days of Kol HaMoed, the intermediate days of festival. And the name Hoshana Rabbah means Great Hoshana. What is Hoshana? It's a series of 7 liturgical poems that call upon God. Calling for what? Calling for rescue, calling for redemption for the Jewish people, but primarily by sending rain. Crazy. But they're in the desert there. And so rain is crucial. It's also the time during the Amidah where we switch, during the Giburot, where we switch from Mashiv HaRuach Umorid HaGashem. We switch to that from Tal, from dew. Hoshana Rabbah is often viewed in Talmudic time, from Talmud, as the ancient rabbis would say, as a mini Yom Kippur, a day which the entire community is judged by God. But I'm smirking because I just find this to be a little archaic. But anyway, the entire Jewish community is judged by God on whether or not they're worthy of seasonal rain. You're thinking rain, I mean, this is that important. But yes, for them in those times, in those places, 100%. I mean, for us too, obviously, you need seasonal rain. But the judgment of the people would determine whether the rain would come. So all 7 Hoshianot prayers are recited with 7 hakafot, 7 processions around the sanctuary. Procession like on Simchat Torah, where the Torah is carried around several times, 7 times. And then at the conclusion of this 7 rounds of procession, it's time for beating. Not beating each other, of course. There is a special ritual on Hoshana Rabbah that you take the branches of the willow from the lulav, the aravot, and it's smashed. You strike them upon the ground. Why? What's the significance of taking part of that lulav, the pieces of the lulav, and beating them on the ground? So, spiritually, but with a physical action, it is the attempt to rid ourselves of any remaining sins, right? Because we were told that Talmud scholared rabbis said that this was a mini Yom Kippur. Here we are, however many days out. This was a time to get rid of whatever was left. The leaves would be representing the transgressions. Get rid of them so that God's influence, in order to influence God to decide to send the seasonal rain. There's a lot of things in tradition that make us shake our heads, smirk, roll our eyes, all of these things. But even if just from a symbolic standpoint, if we get rid of something, the hope and possibility and potential of something else coming could be a blessing. And so if we're looking to have some blessing, a specific one, or any in life, maybe we need to get rid of the remnants of whatever was before. That's the lesson, the spiritual lesson. So on the night before Hoshana Rabbah, it's one of those times and places where traditional Jews like to stay up and study Torah. Some of them, like on Shavuot, even stay up the whole night. It's tradition to read the book of Deuteronomy, mostly because it can serve as a summary for the entire Torah. It's the last book, everything's concluded, it's the end of the Torah reading cycle, and then what happens? Simchat Torah, where we finish reading it, literally, the Torah, and we roll it all the way back to the beginning to start again. For Simchat Torah is 2 days after Hoshana Rabbah. So you spend the time reading, you get the Torah to the end, and then comes Shmini Atzeret, the real prayer for rain, and then the 8th day, and then here we are, Simchat Torah. We finished reading, and we're going to cycle back. On the evening following Hoshana Rabbah, which will be tonight, the festival of Shmini Atzeret begins. for many today, before tonight, is the last time to shake lulav and etrog and hang out in the sukkah. Not to say people don't dwell in the sukkah all the way to Simchat Torah, all the way until they take it down, but officially you can be done. Some go till tomorrow. You could be done in your sukkah today. So when Hoshana Rabbah is done, when we're done beating ourselves one last time, and we're thinking about Yom Kippur, Ashamnu, all of the things that are saying, please, I'm pleading with you. I'm removing all of the schmutz from myself so I can be pure before you. The beating of the aravot, of the leaves, of the branches with the leaves on them, is also to say, I'm beating this out one more time. I am worthy of receiving rain. I mean, okay, receive rain, don't receive rain. I'm not a super fan of rain. As we know, I've talked about it before. As soon as the windshield wipers go on, I'm already in a bad mood. Doesn't take much. But it's one last call, one last cry out to say, I am worthy. I am doing the work that says, please bring your rain to spiritually cleanse me so that I can go forward into this year, the new start of the annual reading of Torah, that we're starting the new year extra fresh. As we transition from Hoshana Rabbah to Shmini Atzeret, there's something that comes with it, which is Shmini Atzeret is the 8th day of gathering, meaning it's over. Sukkot is officially over, the final day, and it has its own significance because it's its own holiday. As Jews, we thank God for harvest and ask for winter rain to prepare the ground for spring planting. But there should be enough moisture in the ground. Of course, here, moisture in the ground, it freezes up. But if we put the relevance on the place where we started all of this, rain needs to come in order for crops to be productive and viable in the spring. There's something else that happens on Shmini Atzeret, and that is Yizkor. That is the service of remembrance. So we hope that you'll join us tomorrow morning at 9:30 for morning service, of course, with additional Yizkor in it. So that's tomorrow at 9:30. Learning with all of you is, preparing myself to learn. You need to turn your brain on and show up. So it's been a pleasure to be with you, Jennifer and Elisa, Linda, Rabbi Jay, Paula, Anne, Bonnie, Lita, Amy, Jeannie. So good to see you. Not that it's not good to see all of the rest of you. When an old goody bud, we miss you person shows up, it's something beautiful too. For all of you that didn't check in, let's continue to learn together. Tomorrow, let's show up at 9:30 for Yizkor and for morning prayer connection, of course. And then in person at 7 o'clock, I will send out a message and post it on social media in case you forget. Friday morning, of course, we'll be together 9:30. I should be clarifying that. And then Friday night at 7 in person. And then, of course, Reb Tova, have a wonderful day. In person, 7 p.m. for Simchat Torah, an up-close look at Torah, an up-close look at finishing together and restarting. We restarted the year, and now we're a few days in, and let's continue to have that connection, that beauty that says, hey, there's a lot of black letters on that parchment. Let's see if we can connect them to find more meaning in the spaces between the letters, between the words, between the columns, and so that this year's Torah can reach and touch our hearts. We are one human family, one heart of abundant love. We love you, and we look forward to seeing you back here tomorrow morning, 9:30. Have a great day, everybody. The sun is shining. It looks like a good one. Am Yisrael, Am Yisrael, Am Yisrael Chai. 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 Od Avinu Chai. Have a great day, everyone.